The 4th of August, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
If one found a ksuba document in the street, Basman Sheha Ba'al Modeh, if the husband concedes that the ksuba obligation is still unpaid, Yachzir Ishar, the finder must return the document to the wife. However, if the husband does not concede that, i.e., he maintains that he's already paid the ksuba obligation, then the finder may not return the document to either party. Example, the husband, or to that party. Example, the wife. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says, Oda Tachas Ba'onor, if she is still under the jurisdiction of her husband, for example, if she is still married when the document is found, the finder must return it to the wife. Nis Malora, O Nis Laura Shore. But if she was divorced or widowed at the time, the finder may not return it either to this party, for example, the husband, or to that party, for example, the wife, because we do not know whether ksuba was already paid. Rabbi Yossi's later ruling proves that he is concerned about the payment. This contradicts the view attributed to him in the first brisa.
Okay. Do we have any Rashis to do over here? Welcome back, Lou.
Thank you.
We are we started today with on Zayin Amid Beis, Rabbi Yossi Omer Harehu B'Cheskasoy Alo Chashinin L'Piroyin.
In the next to last paragraph, that we just finished the one by that. The end of the first paragraph on the right side of 7b1. We just finished that.
Thank you.
Okay, so Rashi we got a Rashi, the first narrow line in Rashi's. Rabbi Yossi lo chayish lepiroyin.
Wait. The low, Rabbi Yossi lo chayish, and Rabbi Yossi is not concerned about if it's paid or not. The man, according to the one, the Mhadre way, that returns it to him, the star that gives him back the star, Perua, that is paid, La'alta, already paid, La'alta would have been paid. Zahir, but he's careful about it. The Horota, to instruct him, the low Masi lay. Mash. I don't know what that is though. Okay.
Okay, so here Rashi is explaining the reasoning behind why it is that Rabbi Yossi holds that we are not choshesh, that this star, which was found, and it's intact. It's in existence. Why we're not choshesh that star has already been paid up, and so accordingly we would give it back to the malva. So Rashi explains Demanda mahadrile star perua, because the one who returns this document, which is now called a shtar perua, it's called a paid off loan because the lova paid it off. So what does the lova do? The alter right away, zohir, he is careful, bikoro, to tear it up. Below mashile, and he doesn't leave it lying around anywhere. So that's a by Rabbi Yossi, that's a chazak, a gemura. That's a complete legal assumption that we assume that every lova, if he's paid the document and he gets back the shtar from the malva, he right away tears it up. So there's no document that's lying around that's going to get lost. If it's lying around and it got lost, it got into the hands of a third party. Rabbi Yossi says it must be that as long as it has a henpick, and that's what we're saying over here in this case, that it has a official a seal of authorization and authentication. So we're going to give it back to the malva. Okay. Okay, so on that, the Gemora asked, is it true that Rabbi Yossi holds that lo chashin in the piroyin, that we're not concerned for the possibility that maybe this shtar that was found by a third party was already paid off by the loiva? And then we bring this brisa. We brought this brisa, and there's some Rashis on this brisa for Lou to read. The first one is Dibra Maskil Shahabal Modeh.
I'm reading the Rashi or I'm reading the Gemora?
Yeah, maybe before we read the Rashi, we should refresh our memories with what it was that what the Brisa says that Rashi is going to be commenting about. So yeah, that would be a good thing to read again. Look, so Bahasanya, you want to read, Lou?
Yeah, if I can find it.
This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines from the top of the page. The first word in that line is below chayish. Below chayish, Rabbi Yossi lepiroyan v'hasanya.
So I'm looking for Hasanya.
Yeah. First words in the line are below chayish.
Okay.
Eight lines down.
Okay. Rabbi Yossi.
Oh, right.
Here, Rabbi Yossi Omer. No, that's not right. It's Rabbi Yossi, the Piron. Okay, so where's that?
Just a couple lines down from where you read.
Okay. All right, I'll start with Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Arei hu v'chizkasu. Rabbi Yossi says the debt document retains its status as a valid document. Below chayshinan, the pay ra'on, and we are not concerned about payment. Velo Chayish Rabbi Yossi the Pei Rayon. The Gemora questions. Now, is Rabbi Yossi in fact not concerned about payment? The Sanya, but we learn in a brisa, Matzah Shtar Kesuva Bashuk. One found a kasuba in the street. Bizman Shehabal Modeh. At a time when the husband admits that the kasuba has not been paid, Yachazir Leisha. We return it to the wife. Ein Habal Modeh. If the husband does not admit, Lo Yachazir Lo Lazeh Below Lazeh. We don't give it to nobody.
Right.
Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says, Oda Tachas Bala. She is still under the jurisdiction of her husband. Yachazir L'isha. So therefore, it must be returned to the wife. Nis ar mela o nis garsha. But if she was widowed or divorced, lo yachazir lo lazeh v'lo lazeh, then we don't give it to nobody.
Oh, so where's the contradiction? What should this brisa have said based upon what we said that Rabbi Yossi holds in the case of the star that was Nafali Adayan? In the case of Nafali Adayan, Rabbi Yossi said, "Look, you got a star. Somebody found it, and it's been authenticated that it's a valid star. Oh, you give it right back to the Malva," says Rabbi Yossi. We don't assume that it's been paid. No, not at all. Why? Rashi told us, because Rabbi Yossi is of the opinion that any loba that has a brain in his head, the minute he pays the obligation and the Malva gives him the star, he tears it up right away. And if he can't tear it up, he's got to do something. He's gonna destroy the star. So you're not gonna find it around, says Rabbi Yossi. So if you did find it around, you're going to give it back to the Malva. What do we say in this brisa over here? With a what's Rabbi Yossi saying about the ksuva? He's saying that, well, if they're no longer married, so then what do we do? Meaning to say, if they're no longer married, then the wife is owed the ksuva, right? So if somebody found it, what are we going to do? According to what we said before, we should say that the wife certainly tore it up. If the obligation was
the husband tore it up.
And here,
the wife has to give it to the husband, and the husband.
Rather, not the wife. Yeah, the wife gives it to the husband, and the husband's going to tear it up. In other words, the husband is like the loiva, and the wife is like the malva, meaning that just like the Malv was the one that's owed the money in the shtar. So the woman is the one who's owed the money in the shtar. So the husband is like the loiva who pays it off. And according to Rabbi Yossi, the minute he pays it off, if he did pay it off, he would have torn it up. So what should we do in this case of the ksuba, according to Rabbi Yossi?
Give it to the wife.
Give it to the wife, exactly. Right. So what does Rabbi Yossi say in this brisa?
Don't give it to nobody.
Right. So the Gemora is jumping up and down over here. What's going on with Rabbi Yossi? Very good. Oh, and now we could read the Rashis.
And about Moda, is that where we are?
Yeah.
Shamar, Parati, Miyadei, Lefel, Nafal. Then he says that it fell from his hand.
Righty.
He says, I lost it.
Well, wait, the first read there's the Rashi in front before that one. Shabal Moda.
Shadval Moda, the husband admits, Shalo Natsan Lo Kasuvasa, that he did not, he was not given, he did not give to her the kasuva.
Right. That's talking about the brisa says Matzah Shtar Ksuva B'Shuk. If somebody found the Shtar Ksuva in the Shuk, so if the Baal admits, and Rashi says, what is he admitting to? He's admitting to the fact that he did not give her her ksuba yet. So in such a case, the Tanakama says, Yaksir Isha. So therefore, the Bezdin will give back that ksuva to the wife, because they're assuming that she must have that it belongs to her, because the husband admits that he didn't pay it. Now, the next case, what happens if the Baal is not moded? And Rashi, we have a Rashi on that. Phil, you want to read the Rashi?
Phil, you're muted.
I had some construction over here. I thought I was going to bother you. Okay, which Rashi?
Ein haba amuda.
Aina. I'm looking at Aina Baal. The Baal doesn't admit. Sha'ama Parati. So he says, I paid already. The midday kafo. This would be a double payment if I had to pay again.
Umiyadi nafal.
Oh, from my hand it fell.
That's his claim. His claim is I paid it up, and but Rabbi Yossi is saying yes, but how come you didn't tear it up? So the guy says it fell from my hand before I had a chance to tear it up. It fell from my hand, and a dog took it and ran away, and I don't know what happened to it. That's his story. Rashi doesn't tell me the story about the dog, but okay, fine. That's what he claims. So what do we do in that case? The Tanakhama says, Lo yaksir, lo lezeh, lo lezeh. We don't give it back to the wife in that case. And we don't give it to the husband either. So So that's the default case where we say this star is not going to this star cannot be used as proof of anything, because we're going to they're going to have to use other methods of proof. The wife is going to have to use other methods of proof, I guess. She wants to get a ksuva out of the husband. Okay, that's what the Tanna Kama holds. So now Rabbi Yossi said, Oda Tachas Bala, if she's still married to the husband, so then we give it back to the Isha. But if she's no longer married to him, so then we don't give it back. Lo lazeh v'lo lazeh. Okay, Rashi.
What if we don't give it back? We just read that one. Okay.
Oda Tachas Bala.
Oda Tachas, if she's still under her husband, like she's not been divorced. Shelo Gershel said that she wasn't divorced. Yachzir Isha, yes, it has to be returned to the woman. Delo Avid Inish, retain, because you don't make people to give a ketubah kodem gerushem before there's an actual divorce. If there's no divorce yet, you don't make the ketubah paid.
Yeah, we have a presumption, says Rashi. Lo Avid Inish, a person doesn't do like this, litain ksuva kodem gerushin, to give his wife a ksuva before he separates from her. So if so, we have a presumption that the ksuva, if they're still married, the ksuva was not paid, and therefore it should be given back to the wife. So that's what Rabbi Yossi holds in that case. Okay, but the case where we do know that the marriage has been terminated, in that case, and we found the ksuva. So in this brisa, Rabbi Yossi says lo yaksir lo lazeh lo lazeh. We don't give it back. We don't give it back to the wife in that case. And that's the kasha that we're asking. According to Rabbi Yossi, we don't assume that it's been paid. We do not assume that it's been paid, because if it's been paid, so then the husband should have torn it up. So if so, then why is it over here that we don't give it back to the wife? Like Rabbi Yossi said in the case of Nafali Dayan. That was the kasha, and we don't have any Rashi on that. So let's just go back to the Gemora. The next, to the word epoch. Alan, you want to read epoch?
Yeah, the Gemara answers epoch. Switch the statement of Rabbi Yossi and the sages quoted in the first brisa. The brisa then reads as follows. If the document fell into the hand of a judge, the principals cannot ever retrieve it because we are concerned about payment. The great Rabbi Yossi, these are the words of Rabbi Yossi. But the sages say, Hare hu so. The document contains its presumption of validity. Both Rices agree that according to Rabbi Yossi, we're concerned about payment. However, now, the Gemora challenges the answer. If it is so that ought to be inverted, Kashua, the Rabbanan, Rabbanan, then the statement of sages in the first price, for example, that a found document obtains its presumption of validity contradicts that of the sages. For example,
Alan?
Yeah, that was the place. That contains the presumption of validity. Both Rices agree that according to Rabbi Yossi, concerned about payment. More challenging the answer. If it is so that the statement of Rabbi Yossi and the sages will be inverted, Kashua the Rabbanan, Adam Rabbanan, and the statement of the sages in the first brisa, for example, that a found document contains a presumption of validity, contradicts that of the sages. For example, in the second brisa, for example, that the finder may not return the document. To defend its answer, the Gemora reinterprets the second brisa. Shatar Basumua, the brisa that discusses a consumer document. For example, the second brisa, Rabbi Yossi, is in its entirety a reflection of the view of Rabbi Yossi. And it is as if the brisa is sufficient, and this is how it should be read. If the husband does not concede that the consumer obligations are paid, and the finder may not return the consumer document, either party or that or to what instant does
Sound is very hard. It's fading in and out.
fading in and out?
Can everybody hear Alan properly?
No, try. I'm close to the computer.
Hardly at all.
The finder may not return the consumer document to either party or to that party. To what instance does this ruling refer? To an instance in which the wife had been merely divorced at the time the document was filed. She was still under the jurisdiction of her husband. For example, she was still married when the document was found. The finder must return it to the wife. For Rabbi Yossi says, if she is still under the jurisdiction of her husband, finder must return the document to the wife. But if she has been divorced, the finder may not return it either on the parties, if the husband or that party never Having mentioned the sage's view, this Bryce obviously does not contradict any ruling attributed to them.
Okay,
Long paragraph.
quite a confusing
Yes.
sequence over here. What the Gemara has done over here, flipping and flopping. I sort of lost track of what the Gemara was saying over here. Okay, let's see if we could work out the steps here. How much time do we have? We have 7 minutes. Okay, so there's really 3 steps over here that the Gemara took. Remember we had the question. That if with Rosi, who we see in the case of the Nafali Adayan, that he holds that that the star is because Kosoi. If you found a star, so that means that it wasn't paid off, because the Lova certainly would have torn it up. That's the view of Rabbi Yossi. That's the way Rashi explained Rabbi Yossi. So how why is it in the Brisa that when she's Nisarmala and Nisgarsha, when the marriage is terminated, why and the wife now is owed the ksuva? So how could it be that you found the ksuva? If you found the ksuva, it's well, how come the Baal didn't tear it up? It must be that you should give it back to the wife. But Rabbi Yossi doesn't say that. He says you don't give it back, not to the wife, not to the representative of the. You don't give it out. So that was the stira. So the first thing the Gemara said was, let's switch around the shitas, and we'll say that the case of the Nafali Adayan, it's Rabbi Yossi is the one who says you don't give it out. So that would now make Rabbi Yossi in the case in the Brisa with the Ksuva consistent. That's what he says over there too. You don't give it out. And so but then the Chachamim say Hareu b'chazkasai, that you give it back to the Malva, because now it would be the Chachamim are saying that we don't if the Lova paid it off, so how come he didn't tear it up? So we give it back to the Malva. That's the Chachamim's view, according to this epoch. Epoch means that we switch around we make a switch in the first brisa and say that we thought the opinion of the Chachamim is really the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, and the opinion that we thought was Rabbi Yossi is really the opinion of the Chachamim. On that, the Gemara said that solves Rabbi Yossi, but it makes the Chachamim problematic. Yihachi. Step 2, kasha d'Rabbanan ad Rabbanan. You can't now you've made the Rabbanan inconsistent between the case of Nafali Adayan and the case of the Ksuva. Okay, so that didn't really help matters too much for the Gemara to do that, because now the Chachamim are difficult. How is the Chachamim difficult? Because we're saying, according to the epoch, we're saying that the Chachamim was the ones that said, Harehu b'chazkaso, we're going to give back the shtar to the Malva, because if it would have been already paid off and the Lova received it from the Malvi, he would have torn it up. So if that's what the Chachamim say, in the case of Nafali Adayan, they should have to be consistent and say the same thing in the case of the shtar ksuva. In other words, in the case of the shtar ksuva, what do we have Chachamim on record as saying? We don't give it back to this one, we don't give it back to that one. Lo yaksir lo lazeh lo lazeh. So that's inconsistent. Okay, so the Gemara said, shtar ksuva kulu Rabbi Yossi. Now this is the third suggestion the Gemara has over here. I mean the third step of this suggestion. we switched the opinions, and now we're gonna doctor up the brisa. We're gonna say there's no opinion of the Chachamim in the brisa so then that will conveniently take down the inconsistency between the Chachamim opinion in the brisa of this ksuba and the Chachamim's opinion in the brisa of Nafali Adayin, because we got no opinion of the Chachamim in the brisa of the ksuba. Very good. Okay, so the whole thing is Rabbi Yossi, and we have to and we doctored up the words, and so like that we got the all we got is Rabbi Yossi in the ksuba. Okay, so that opinion will accord with Rabbi Yossi in the Nafali Adayin. He's the one that says you don't give it back. He's the one that says you don't give it back because you're choshesh for piroyan. You entertain the possibility that the loiva paid it off, even though the shtar is lying around. Okay, so that's that answer, and that brings us up to 1229. Okay, so for tomorrow, we got Rav Papa Amar.
Thank you, Rabbi. Have a
Okay.
good day.
Lou, 4 o'clock, right?
4 o'clock, Alan, yes.
Okay, great.
Yep.
See you then.
Okay.